Welcome back to the channel US Rare Coins News, Top 1 today. We're uncovering the story behind one of the most intriguing everyday coins ever produced in the United States, the 1967 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, this quarter looks ordinary. Many people have spent it without a second thought. But collectors know that behind its familiar design lies a fascinating history, hidden varieties, and a surprising collector market that continues to grow. The Washington Quarter series itself began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1967, this design had already become a staple of American commerce, symbolizing trust, stability, and national pride. But the year 1967 was anything but ordinary. America in 1967 was in the middle of cultural revolution. The Vietnam War dominated headlines, the civil rights movement reshaped the nation, and the economy faced growing pressure from rising silver prices. Because of this, the U.S. Mint had already removed silver from quarters just 2 years earlier. The 1967 Washington quarter was struck using a copper-nickel-clad composition, layered over a solid copper core. This decision alone makes the coin a marker of a major turning point in U.S. coinage history. Another detail that sets the 1967 quarter apart is the absence of a mint mark. During this time, mint marks were intentionally removed to discourage coin hoarding. Whether struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, all 1967 quarters look the same, creating an air of mystery that still intrigues collectors today. On the front of the coin, George Washington's profile appears calm and resolute. His tied hair, sharp features, and dignified expression were sculpted by John Flanagan and remain among the most recognized images in American coinage. Surrounding Washington are the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year 1967, anchoring the coin firmly in its historical moment. Flip the coin over, and the iconic American eagle commands attention. With wings spread wide, clutching arrows and an olive branch, the eagle symbolizes both strength and peace. Beneath it rests the words "United States of America" and "quarter dollar," a reminder that this small coin carried immense symbolic weight. While millions upon millions of 1967 quarters were produced, condition is everything. Most examples were heavily circulated, acquiring scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details over decades of use. Finding one today with sharp details, original luster, and minimal wear is far more difficult than many people realize. Even more desirable are special strike examples produced in 1967. Instead of proof coins, which were suspended at the time, the U.S. Mint released special mint set quarters. These coins feature a smoother finish, stronger strikes, and a semi-proof appearance that instantly separates them from standard circulation coins. Collectors prize these for their beauty and limited availability. Error coins add yet another layer of excitement. Some 1967 Washington quarters exhibit off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or unusual surface anomalies. These mistakes occurred during the high-speed minting process and were never meant to leave the mint. When discovered, they transform an ordinary quarter into a highly collectible treasure. What makes the 1967 Washington quarter especially appealing is its accessibility. It's a coin that beginners can afford, yet advanced collectors continue to pursue top-grade examples. It bridges generations, reminding us that even modern coins can become historically meaningful and financially collectible over time. Collectors also value this coin for what it represents, the final years of classic circulating designs before major changes swept through American coinage. Holding a well-preserved 1967 quarter is like holding a time capsule from a turbulent yet transformative era. Now comes the moment everyone waits for, the value. In everyday circulated condition, the 1967 Washington quarter is typically worth face value or slightly more. However, uncirculated examples, especially those with strong eye appeal, command significantly higher interest. Special mint set coins are even more sought after, and certified high-grade pieces have achieved impressive results when offered to collectors. At auction, standard uncirculated 1967 Washington quarters have sold for prices ranging from $20 to over $100, depending on grade. Special mint set examples in top condition have reached several $100s, while rare error coins and exceptionally preserved pieces have achieved auction prices exceeding $1,000. Not bad for a coin most people once carried in their pocket without a second glance. So next time you come across a 1967 Washington quarter, pause for a moment. Look closely. You may be holding more than just spare change, you may be holding a small but powerful piece of American history. Top 2. Imagine holding a small coin in your hand, a piece of history so ordinary yet so extraordinary at the same time. A coin that has quietly passed through countless wallets, pockets, and cash registers, witnessing the everyday lives of Americans during a transformative period. This is the story of the 1968 Washington quarter, a coin that seems simple at first glance but holds layers of history, design, and collector appeal that continue to captivate enthusiasts to this day. The Washington Quarter series has been one of the most enduring in American history, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1968, this design was already a familiar sight across the United States, a coin that people relied on daily for purchases yet often overlooked in terms of its historical and collectible value. But the year 1968 was anything but ordinary in America. The country was in the midst of social, political, and economic change. The civil rights movement was in full swing, the Vietnam War dominated headlines, and everyday life reflected a nation in transition. Amidst all this, the Mint continued producing the Washington Quarter, striking millions of coins to meet the demands of commerce. What makes the 1968 quarter special is that it is part of the first full year of production after the end of silver in circulating quarters. Beginning in 1965, the United States had removed silver from the quarter and replaced it with a copper-nickel-clad composition, a change prompted by rising silver prices and the need to maintain a stable currency. The 1968 quarter carries this new composition and represents a shift in U.S. coinage, marking the beginning of an era where the quarter became purely a base metal coin for everyday circulation. On the obverse, the coin features the familiar profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. His calm, dignified expression, finely tied hair, and sharp features have made this portrait one of the most recognizable in U.S. coinage. Surrounding his image are the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the year 1968. Each detail tells a story of artistry and consistency, representing a symbol of stability during a time of change. Turning the coin over, the reverse presents the American eagle with its wings spread majestically, clutching arrows and an olive branch. This design captures the dual nature of America's identity, strength and readiness to defend, combined with a desire for peace. The words United States of America and $quarter encircle the eagle, emphasizing the coin's official status as a small but important unit of currency. It is a design that communicates not just value in dollars but a deeper connection to national identity. Although millions of 1968 quarters were produced, condition is what separates ordinary coins from prized collectibles. Most examples were circulated extensively, picking up scratches, wear, and a patina that comes from decades of use. Today, finding a 1968 quarter with sharp details, crisp edges, and original luster is much rarer than many might imagine. For collectors, this is where the true appeal lies, a coin that has survived the wear of time, preserved as if it had been tucked away for generations. In addition to circulation coins, 1968 also saw the production of special mint sets, which were introduced to replace proof sets during the 1965 to 1967 period when traditional proof sets were suspended. These coins often feature a more refined finish, with sharper strikes and a smoother, more polished appearance. Collectors prize these coins because they offer a glimpse of what U.S. coins could have looked like if they had been struck in a more deliberate, high-quality manner. Error coins add another fascinating layer to the story. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes occur, off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, or other anomalies. A 1968 Washington quarter with such an error instantly becomes unique. These quirks of the minting process are highly sought after by collectors, who value the combination of rarity, imperfection, and history. In many ways, these error coins tell a story of human and mechanical imperfection, making each one an intriguing collectible. The allure of the 1968 Washington quarter is also tied to accessibility. It is a coin that beginners can afford while still offering opportunities for advanced collectors to find high-grade examples or rare variants. Unlike some coins that are prohibitively expensive, the 1968 quarter bridges generations and collector experience levels. It allows anyone interested in American coinage to hold a tangible piece of history and feel connected to the past. For many, collecting quarters is about more than just monetary value. It is about preserving a story, a moment in time when the United States was undergoing significant change. Each 1968 Washington quarter represents not just currency, but a small snapshot of American life during a pivotal era. Holding a well-preserved example connects you to that history in a way few other everyday objects can. Finally, let's talk about value. While circulated 1968 quarters are often worth face value or slightly more to collectors, coins in uncirculated condition, special mint sets, and verified error coins can achieve much higher interest in the marketplace. At auction, standard uncirculated 1968 Washington quarters have sold for $10 to $50, depending on grade and appeal. Special mint set coins have reached $75 to $150, and rare error coins or exceptionally preserved examples have fetched over $500 at auction. While not a five-figure treasure, these coins are nonetheless prized by collectors for their historical significance, condition, and unique story. So next time you come across a 1968 Washington quarter, take a moment to examine it closely. Its worn edges, its details, and even its minor imperfections all tell a story of an America that existed over 50 years ago. A story you can hold in the palm of your hand. It may have started as pocket change, but today it is a small, tangible piece of history, waiting to be appreciated and collected. Top 3. Imagine holding a coin that has traveled through the hands of countless Americans, a small, everyday object that quietly witnessed the 1980s unfold, a decade of change, progress, and challenges. This coin is the 1985 Washington quarter, a piece of currency that many of us have handled without a second thought, yet for collectors, it holds a story waiting to be uncovered. The Washington Quarter series has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, initially created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1985, this iconic design had become one of the most recognizable in the country. People used it every day for vending machines, parking meters, and shopping, often unaware that they were handling a piece of history. What makes the 1985 quarter particularly fascinating is the context in which it was minted. America in 1985 was a nation experiencing cultural shifts, economic recovery, and technological innovation. Ronald Reagan was president, the Cold War was still ongoing, and everyday Americans were witnessing a rapidly changing world. In the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint continued producing the Washington quarter, striking millions of coins to satisfy the needs of daily commerce. The 1985 quarter, like all quarters minted after 1965, is composed of copper-nickel clad, a layered structure over a solid copper core. The removal of silver from quarters in the mid-1960s had revolutionized coinage, and by 1985, this copper-nickel composition was standard. While it might not carry the intrinsic metal value of earlier silver quarters, its collectible appeal comes from its condition, minting quality, and potential rare variants. On the obverse of the coin, George Washington's portrait, designed by John Flanagan, commands attention. His calm, dignified expression and carefully tied hair have become synonymous with American currency. Surrounding his profile are the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the year 1985, marking this coin as both a functional object and a piece of art. The details may appear simple, but each curve and line has been refined over decades, ensuring Washington's image remains iconic. Flip the coin over, and the American eagle spreads its wings proudly, clutching arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. This design has remained largely unchanged since its introduction in 1932, symbolizing both America's readiness to defend itself and its commitment to peace. The words United States of America and quarter dollar frame the eagle, grounding the coin as a unit of currency but also reminding us of its historical and national significance. Despite being a common coin, the 1985 Washington quarter holds appeal for collectors in several ways. The primary factor is condition. Most 1985 quarters were circulated heavily, leading to scratches, dulling, and worn details. Finding one in uncirculated condition, with sharp edges and original mint luster, is considerably rarer than many realize. These high-grade examples are what serious collectors seek, and they command higher prices than their worn counterparts. Another element of interest is the mint mark. 1985 quarters were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, each identified by their respective mint mark. Coins from each mint can have slight differences in strike and finish, making them interesting for collectors who pursue complete sets or specific mint varieties. The San Francisco quarters of 1985 were part of the special mint set, designed to replace the traditional proof sets for a few years. These coins are particularly valued for their smoother finishes and cleaner strikes, making them stand out from everyday circulation coins. Error coins also play a role in the allure of the 1985 Washington quarter. During the high-speed minting process, mistakes occasionally occurred, resulting in off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet imperfections. These rare errors create a coin that is one of a kind, transforming an ordinary quarter into a prized collectible. Collectors love these anomalies because they tell a story of human and mechanical imperfection, adding depth and uniqueness to an otherwise mass-produced coin. Beyond rarity and condition, the 1985 quarter is appealing because it represents a bridge between past and present. It is a coin that many people remember using in their daily lives, evoking nostalgia while still being accessible to modern collectors. Beginners can easily add a 1985 quarter to their collection without a huge investment, while advanced collectors can hunt for pristine examples, special mint sets, or error coins to add real value to their portfolios. The story of the 1985 Washington quarter is also one of continuity and tradition. In a rapidly changing world, this coin has remained consistent in design, composition, and symbolism. It reminds us that even everyday objects carry a legacy, connecting generations of Americans through a simple exchange of currency. Holding one today is like holding a small piece of the 1980s, a decade of cultural icons, music, movies, and national milestones. Now, let's talk about value. For most collectors, circulated 1985 Washington quarters are worth little more than their face value. However, uncirculated examples with strong luster and crisp details are more sought after and command higher prices. Special mint set coins from San Francisco are even more desirable due to their limited production and high-quality strikes. Rare error coins, which are always exciting to discover, add another layer of potential worth. At auction, uncirculated 1985 Washington quarters typically sell for $5 to $20, depending on condition and eye appeal. Special mint set examples often reach $25 to $75, and rare error coins or exceptionally preserved pieces have been known to fetch over $100, sometimes even higher if they are certified by a professional grading service. While not a coin that will make someone a millionaire, it remains a meaningful collectible that combines history, artistry, and accessibility. So next time you come across a 1985 Washington quarter, take a moment to inspect it closely. Its details, its finish, and even the smallest imperfections tell a story of an America that existed nearly 40 years ago. It may have started as simple change, but in the hands of a collector, it becomes a small, tangible connection to the past, a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary stories. Top 4. Imagine holding a coin that has silently traveled through the hands of millions, a coin that's been part of everyday life for decades. The small, silver-colored quarter in your pocket or jar isn't just currency, it's a piece of history, a snapshot of an era. Today, we're diving deep into one of the more fascinating quarters from the late 20th century, the 1988 Washington quarter. On the surface, it looks ordinary, a coin you might spend without a second thought. But for collectors and coin enthusiasts, this little piece of metal holds stories, artistry, and even hidden value. The Washington Quarter series has been a mainstay of American coinage since 1932, created to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. By 1988, this familiar design had been circulating for decades, becoming a staple of American daily life. People used it for parking meters, vending machines, and small purchases, often unaware that they were holding a coin with a legacy. The 1988 quarter represents a moment in time when the U.S. economy, culture, and coinage were evolving. America was in the late Reagan era, a time marked by economic expansion, pop culture influence, and political shifts. In the background of these societal changes, the Mint continued producing coins that were both practical and symbolic, including millions of Washington quarters. By 1988, all circulating quarters had been composed of copper-nickel clad over a solid copper core for more than 2 decades, following the removal of silver in 1965. While this composition doesn't carry intrinsic silver value, it allowed the quarter to remain a stable, functional piece of currency. However, for collectors, the true value isn't in the metal, it's in condition, rarity, and unique characteristics. On the obverse of the 1988 quarter, the portrait of George Washington commands attention. Designed by John Flanagan in 1932, the profile has remained largely unchanged for over half a century. Washington's calm, dignified expression, his neatly tied hair, and sharp facial features convey a sense of stability and permanence. Surrounding his profile are the words "Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust," and of course, the year 1988, anchoring the coin firmly in its historical moment. Every line and curve is deliberate, a careful balance between artistry and mass production. The reverse of the coin features the iconic American eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. This design, which has endured since the series began, symbolizes both strength and peace, reflecting the duality of America's identity. Framing the eagle are the words "United States of America" and "quarter dollar," reminding us that even a small coin carries national significance. The design is simple yet powerful, familiar to generations of Americans, and instantly recognizable around the world. What makes the 1988 Washington quarter interesting to collectors goes beyond its design. First, condition matters greatly. Most 1988 quarters were circulated extensively, acquiring scratches, nicks, and a natural patina over time. Coins in uncirculated condition, with crisp details and original luster, are much rarer and more highly prized. For collectors, these high-grade examples are worth seeking out, and even minor differences in strike quality or surface quality can make a noticeable difference in value. Another point of interest lies in the mint mark. In 1988, quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, indicated by P or D mint marks, respectively. Each mint has slight variations in strike strength and detail, which can be fascinating for collectors who pursue complete sets. While the San Francisco Mint primarily produced proof coins for collectors, Philadelphia and Denver coins were intended for general circulation, making well-preserved examples all the more special. 1988 also produced some interesting error coins, which are particularly prized among numismatists. Errors can include off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet flaws, and these accidental anomalies create coins that are unique and highly collectible. Even a small error can elevate a common coin into something extraordinary, capturing the attention of collectors looking for rarity and historical intrigue. Beyond rarity and condition, the 1988 quarter has nostalgic appeal. Many collectors remember using these coins in their daily lives, evoking memories of childhood, school lunches, vending machines, and piggy banks. This emotional connection, combined with its historical context, makes the 1988 Washington quarter appealing not only as currency but as a collectible that bridges generations. It represents both the continuity of American coinage and the subtle changes in society during the late 1980s. Collectors also appreciate the accessibility of this coin. It is one of those coins that beginners can afford easily while still offering opportunities for advanced collectors to hunt for high-grade examples, rare errors, or coins with special finishes. Unlike rare historical coins that can be prohibitively expensive, the 1988 quarter strikes a balance. It's affordable, collectible, and historically meaningful. Now, let's talk about the market value. Circulated 1988 Washington quarters are generally worth face value or slightly more, depending on condition. Uncirculated examples, especially those with strong eye appeal and crisp details, command higher interest among collectors. Special or error coins from this year can attract even more attention, particularly if they have been professionally graded or certified. At auction, standard uncirculated 1988 quarters typically sell for $5 to $20, depending on grade and condition. Coins with particularly strong eye appeal or minimal contact marks can reach $25 to $50. Rare error coins or exceptionally preserved examples have been known to fetch over $100, especially if verified by professional grading services. While not a coin that will create overnight millionaires, it remains a meaningful and attainable collectible that combines history, artistry, and nostalgia. So the next time you come across a 1988 Washington quarter, take a moment to examine it closely. Notice the sharpness of George Washington's profile, the detail of the eagle's feathers, and even the tiniest scratches or imperfections that tell a story of decades in circulation. This small coin, once pocket change, is now a tangible link to American history, a piece of the past that fits in the palm of your hand. Exploring coins like the 1988 Washington quarter reminds us that history isn't always found in books or museums, sometimes it's in the everyday objects we carry, exchange, and collect. It's a reminder that even small, ordinary things can hold extraordinary stories and value. Top 5. Imagine holding a small, seemingly ordinary coin in your hand, a coin that has quietly passed through millions of wallets, cash registers, and piggy banks. At first glance, it may look like any other quarter in circulation, but for collectors, the 1998 Washington quarter holds hidden stories, subtle details, and surprising value that make it more than just a piece of change. The Washington quarter has been a cornerstone of American coinage since it was first issued in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. By 1998, this design had already been in circulation for over 6 decades, yet it remained one of the most recognizable coins in everyday life. People used it for vending machines, tolls, shopping, and countless other transactions, often unaware that they were holding a small piece of American history. The 1998 quarter represents a snapshot of a very particular moment in the United States, one of economic stability, technological growth, and cultural evolution. At this point in history, the Washington quarter was composed of copper nickel clad over a copper core, a standard composition that had been in place since 1965 after the removal of silver from circulating quarters. While it no longer contained precious metal, this change allowed the mint to produce millions of coins for daily use while still maintaining durability and a consistent appearance. Collectors today are drawn to the 1998 quarter not for its metal value but for its condition, rarity, and potential unique variations. On the obverse, the coin features the familiar profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan in 1932. Washington's dignified expression, carefully tied hair, and sharp facial features have become a symbol of American stability and leadership. Surrounding his portrait are the words "Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust," and the year 1998, marking this coin in its historical context. Even in its simplicity, the design carries a quiet elegance, a reminder that American coins are both functional currency and miniature works of art. The reverse of the coin presents the iconic American eagle, its wings outstretched as it clutches arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. The eagle symbolizes strength and preparedness, while the olive branch represents peace, a duality that captures the essence of the nation. The words United States of America and quarter dollar frame the eagle, anchoring the coin as a unit of currency but also as a symbol of national identity. What makes the 1998 Washington quarter particularly appealing to collectors is the combination of condition, mint mark, and potential rarity. Most 1998 quarters were heavily circulated, leading to scratches, dull surfaces, and wear. Finding one in uncirculated condition, with crisp details and original luster, is far less common than many people realize. Coins that have been carefully preserved, sometimes in coin rolls or collections, are particularly desirable, as they reflect what the quarter looked like fresh from the mint over 2 decades ago. The mint mark adds another layer of interest. In 1998, quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, denoted by P or D respectively. Each mint produces subtle variations in strike quality, and collectors often aim to complete sets from each mint. While Philadelphia coins are sometimes harder to find in pristine condition due to circulation patterns, Denver coins are more common but still valued when preserved in high grade. These small distinctions make collecting quarters a rewarding challenge for both beginners and advanced enthusiasts. Error coins from 1998 also add excitement to the market. Occasionally, the mint produces coins with off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet imperfections. Such errors are rare and highly sought after because they are unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. Even minor anomalies can dramatically increase a coin's value, turning a common 1998 quarter into a collectible treasure. The 1998 Washington quarter also carries nostalgia. For many, it represents the late 1990s, a period of technological boom, pop culture milestones, and global change. Children collected these coins in piggy banks, families used them for everyday purchases, and they circulated widely across the country. Today, holding a well-preserved 1998 quarter is like holding a small piece of that era, an object that connects us to a time when life moved a little differently, yet the coins in our pockets were just as essential. Accessibility makes this coin even more appealing. Unlike older quarters that can be prohibitively expensive, the 1998 quarter is affordable for beginners while still offering opportunities for collectors to hunt for high-grade examples, mint variations, and rare errors. This makes it an ideal addition to a collection, bridging casual collectors and serious numismatists alike. Collectors also value the coin for its story of continuity. The Washington quarter design had been in use for decades and would continue into the 1990s, maintaining a consistent symbol of American history while reflecting subtle changes in minting quality and material. This combination of tradition, history, and accessibility makes the 1998 quarter a meaningful collectible, even decades after it left the mint. Now, when it comes to value, most 1998 Washington quarters in circulated condition are worth face value or slightly above, depending on where. Uncirculated examples with strong eye appeal, sharp details, and original luster command more attention. Error coins or rare variants are highly sought after and can attract collectors looking for unique additions to their sets. At auction, uncirculated 1998 Washington quarters generally sell for $3 to $15, depending on condition and appeal. Coins from special mint sets or those with minimal marks can fetch $20 to $50, while rare error coins or exceptionally preserved examples have been known to sell for over $100. While these quarters may not reach the staggering values of older, rarer coins, they remain a favorite among collectors due to their accessibility, history, and nostalgic connection to the late 1990s. So the next time you come across a 1998 Washington quarter, take a moment to examine it closely. Notice the crisp details in Washington's hair, the texture of the eagle's feathers, and even the smallest imperfections that tell a story of circulation and history. This small, everyday coin carries more than just monetary value. It's a tangible link to American history, a symbol of continuity, and a collector's treasure waiting to be appreciated. Coins like the 1998 Washington quarter remind us that history is not just in textbooks or museums. Sometimes, it's in the coins we carry, the small objects we overlook, and the details we appreciate only when we pause to look closely. This coin is more than change, it's a story, a memory, and a collectible, all in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed exploring the fascinating story and potential value of the 1998 Washington quarter, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. There are countless other coins with hidden histories, rare errors, and intriguing collector appeal, and sometimes even a quarter can hold far more than just its face value.